Hey guys, it is now 12:05, so we can go ahead and start the meeting. Want to just say welcome back to, returning and new members. I saw a bunch of new people in the chat saying that this is their first meeting. I hope you guys find this information useful and you guys come to other meetings that we have every Thursday from 12 to 1, unless specified in our newsletter that we'll have it on another day or that we don't have it on a day. So let's get started. So a few things, event announcements. So today we're going to have our student spotlight with Katlynne Molina. So we're going to start this new thing where we spotlight a student that has been doing something in the commercial real estate world or just real estate world that we think would be really helpful for you guys to learn about. And so this week it's going to be Katlynne, who is our marketing director, and I'll speak more about that towards the end. Next week, we're going to have our very own Professor Orlando take a deep dive into his book, Keeping Races in Their Places. If you guys don't know, he came out with this book on December, and he's had a couple book tours, and it's an amazing book. It's super insightful, and he's been working on this for almost 2 years. So it'd be a great conversation to have with him about how did he come up with this idea, where did this research come from, and how did he come up with this book in the end? Week 4, we're going to have guest speaker Lindsay Minji. She is the current crew president, as well as a power broker from Lee and Associates. So that's going to be February 17th. Power brokers, they're on a different ballpark or ball field. So definitely come and join and see that. Week 6, we're going to have 2 events. First one is March 1st with the Student Managed Investment Club, in which we're going to be hosting Eric Frankel, who is a real estate investment analyst from Green Street. And March 3rd, we're going to have a collaboration event with OMS, Operations Management Society, but that is still TBD on what we're going to talk about in that event. But these are all great events, and we hope to see you there. And now I'll pass it off to Martin, who's going to talk about our social media.
Hey guys, here's a link to our social media. There's a direct link. Here's a direct link. I'll post it in the chat right now. But if you'd like to pull your phone out and scan the QR code, it'll take you directly there as well. You'll need to register for MyBar in order to sign up for the club. And then there's links for our LinkedIn, Slack, and our YouTube channel.
You. And just one more thing is that we are slowly leaving Discord and going towards Slack. So I know that there's still people on Discord. We're going to start integrating towards Slack in the next month. So basically, we're just going to fuse out our communications on there. So if you want to keep up to date with us, follow our Instagram, look us up on MyBar, and most importantly, join our Slack channel. That's where we're going to announce everything. We're going to put all our information there, and that's going to be our point of communication with you all from now on. And now I'll pass it on to Talara, who's going to talk about our merchandise.
Hey everyone. So as you can see, we have our merchandise available now. It's available to paid members as well if you want to buy it. If you're not a paid member, but I suggest you becoming a paid member because we have a lot of other things to offer you, such as access to internship list, or you also get access to events such as our site tour. And if you want to sign up to be a paid member, please Venmo me. You can see my Venmo on the screen. And when you Venmo me, if you don't have your full name as your Venmo tag, please let me know your full name and your CPP email address in the little Venmo memo. So for a semester, it's $20, and for a full year, it's $30. And I want to say thank you to our current paid members. And I'm going to pass it off to Kyra.
Hi, so one of our proud memberships is with Crew Inland Empire. They focus in advancing women in the commercial real estate field, offering scholarships and internships. This scholarship offers great networking opportunities with professionals in the industry, and we encourage interested guests to attend at least 2 programs to learn more about these memberships and opportunities that Crew holds.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about our other partnership posting, which is NAOP, and they actually have a scholarship opportunity for current student members. So if you are a student member, you should have received an email through Outlook or however you signed up for NAOP, talking about the NAOP Diversity Student Scholarship. The deadline currently has been extended from February 4th to February 11th. And you must, like I said, must be a NAOP student member. You must submit a resume, an unofficial transcript, have at least a 3.0 GPA. And the most important part is having a letter of recommendation from a CRE professor or an instructor. So if you're taking a course outside of CPP and let's say they're teaching it, that can be considered a letter of recommendation option. But, you know, they're emphasizing that there's only 8 days left because of that letter of recommendation. And, you know, if you're a member, I highly recommend applying because they've mentioned in their email that 4 student winners can get a $5,000 scholarship and 2 student winners can get a $2,500 scholarship. And all winners get to go to their CRE Converge conference, which is all about, you know, commercial real estate, and it's hosted by NAOP. After that, we also have our partnership posting with ULI. And, you know, as I said last week, this is an insight into internship for women. It's by their WLI, which is Women's Leadership Initiative. This is a annual internship opportunity or internship conference that they have every single year. And basically this is going to be online. We were just notified that this is going to be on Zoom because of, you know, COVID and all the unprecedented things behind it. So if you are a woman and you just want to learn more about different CRE roles, I hands down recommend to apply. Another thing that they have you do is send your resume, and based on your resume and your interests, they put you in different panel groups. And basically you get to talk to people in that industry that you're interested in or that sector. And then after that, your resume goes to a professional in the world, and they will actually have an informational interview, which is kind of like just a coffee chat. And that can lead to so much more if you like further cultivate that relationship and just, you know, continue working on it. So I know that there's some people who actually have gotten a lot of opportunities from this this conference, and I highly recommend everyone to join. So lastly, before we start our next part, which is our student spotlight, is if anyone's interested in joining our team, we have available positions such as marketing director and director of external affairs. For those who have applied, we are going to send applications and interview times soon, but we are going to close this in another week or so. So if you have not yet applied, I highly recommend doing so. You know, qualifications, we're currently looking for freshman to junior standing. That isn't a hard qualification. It's just we prefer that so you guys can continue staying with REA. But if you're a senior looking for some something on the side, like definitely apply. You need to, we look for someone who has a deep interest in real estate and also would like some leadership experience. So yeah, it's a quick 2 to 3 minute long application, and we would love to see more applicants and, you know, people joining. And now I would like to introduce our student speaker, Katlynne Molina. She is currently working at Keller Williams and holds a real estate salesperson's license. And I'm going to give it to her to talk about her experience as, you know, through the real estate salesperson's license and also her experience at Keller Williams. So big shout out to Katlynne for talking to us, and I will let you share your screen and continue.
Thank you, Sanika. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, perfect. You can see that, correct? What I'm sharing? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katlynne Molina, and I am a Keller Williams agent, and I work at the Yorba Linda and Anaheim Hills office, which is about 20 minutes away from Cal Poly Pomona. And so I wanted to start off opening the floor to how and where did I begin my career in the real estate industry. I know many people often, when they want to get into the industry themselves, they are often confused on where to start. So I just want to clear up the space for that and give you guys a good direction. So first, in order to become a real estate salesperson in the state of California, you are required to successfully complete 3 college-level courses, which include real estate principles, practice, and 1 elective course. And then you must pass the salesperson state exam. And I inserted a link at the bottom left, which is real estate trainers, to where I personally took the classes, and I will add that link at the end of the Zoom. There are also alternative classes offered at Cal Poly Pomona. If you want to become a salesperson, then you can see on the left-hand side what required 2 classes they have and the electives that you can select from. And on the right-hand side, you can see the classes that they offer if you want to become a broker. I know if you want to become a broker, you have to be 2 years experience within the real estate industry, or you can take the required courses, which are a little bit more than the salesperson to take the test. For me, I personally did the required 2 classes, which was real estate practice and principles. And my elective that I chose was real estate law. So that was because when I chose real estate law, I decided after college, I'm going to go into that field. And it's also really interesting for me to take that class because it tells you a little bit of backgrounds of what laws that realtors have to follow when they are doing a transaction, or what kind of confidentiality agreements that you have and with relationships to your clients. And so step 2, after you take the required courses, you will get a certificate of completion for the courses that you take. And with that, you'll be able to schedule an salesperson state exam. So you can select to take the state person exam at any location. There's a bunch in California, so you just select which one is closest to you. But personally, I really deeply recommend that you guys take the 2-day crash course, which is you take that coherent to completing your classes. And this 2-day crash course is $219 offered at real estate trainers school in Anaheim. And this 2-day crash course is really what got me to pass the test. And I would say that if I didn't take it, that it would probably be a lot more challenging. The 2-day crash course gives you a really good practice test. You get a pamphlet of all the questions that are going to be on the test or very similar to the test. And I want to remind you that there are no accounting questions on the test. A lot of people get nervous for the exam and they practice a lot of accounting and formulas to how to calculate a down payment for a house, or what to expect when you're trying to buy home insurance, or what you're expected to pay for your monthly mortgages and so on. There's no questions like that on the state exam, so don't stress if you're bad at math. But after you complete the 2-day crash course, I also recommend you guys take the I Got My License Now What. They do offer that at the same school. When I took that really helped me because it helps everyone that's trying to get into the field correctly pick the right brokerage to sign with, because it can get really tricky when you're trying to find the right brokerage to sign with in regards to your commission split, if you're worried about that. The environment, if there's teams on there, what are the desk fees? And there's a lot of fees actually that come along with the license. So you're going to have to end up signing with a local real estate board after you sign with the brokerage. And that's going to be in accordance to where you're working for. So since I work at Keller Williams in Anaheim Hills, Yorba Linda area, I am assigned with Power and Tri-Point counties. So I can see what homes are listed for sale and what is going on in the market with that board. I can go more into depth if you guys have more questions about how that works and how to sign up with the correct board. But going back to I Got My License Now What, there's this really good trainer there. Her name is Sharon Butler, and she teaches even MLO courses if you're trying to become a mortgage lender. And she also teaches the salesperson license. I'm not too sure if she still does that now, but she still teaches that I Got My License Now What, and teaches everyone how to pick a broker. What's the normal commission and how do you get paid? And what are the benefits that you should be aware of? Because there are some offices that do offer amazing benefits and some that really just put you down as an independent contractor and don't offer you that many benefits. So when I was interviewing for many brokerages, I only interviewed for about, I believe I picked 4 or 5. And the reason why I chose Keller Williams in Yorba Linda is because they offered uh, a good commission split to me. They offered health insurance to me, which what not all offices do. And there were no desk fees associated to signing with the brokerage. But also moving on is that you can also be taught how to do sales and marketing. Some offices don't offer too much training. And I thought the number one thing that was really important to me was, since I'm new in the field, was to get the proper training, because without the training, you really can't start in the industry and you won't really have a good direction. Some offices, if they don't offer you training, you just get your license and you start on your own. And it's really difficult to do that because when you're starting new and you don't know much about the field, it becomes very overwhelming with trying to cold call, with trying to market, and trying to see what do you want in a prospective lead and what would you also consider a useless lead. So it will this I got my license class will also teach you a lot of the right questions to ask. And I mean, it's only, I think, $30, but it's very useful. If I didn't take that class, I probably would have signed with the wrong brokerage or just the one that didn't fit for me and be paying a lot more. Within the contracts that you see when you sign for a brokerage, there are a lot of fees associated in it. So you have to read the fine print. I remember getting my contract personally, and it was about, I would say, 6 to 7 pages. But there's also other forms that I had to fill out in regards to what programs they offer and confidentiality. So just be aware of that and read the contracts. And if you don't understand anything within the contract, you can always reach out to me and I can help you figure that out. Or you can just ask the team leader that's at your office if they have one, because not all offices have team leaders. And again, so after you take your salesperson exam, you're going to want to use, well, before that, you're going to want to use this site that I put on here, and I can also link that in the chat afterwards. It's the California Real Estate Department, and it tells you everything that you need to know once you go on there. And between the two that you can see, the left-hand side says salesperson examination only application process. I would recommend you guys to do the one to the right, which is salesperson examination and license application process. The difference is that the salesperson examination only application process only allows you to pass the test, but doesn't issue you the license. So you're going to have to pay another separate fee, and that might take a while for you to get your license. When, if you do the right hand side one, you'll just get it right away. So I really recommend you getting the salesperson examination license application process. I don't remember how much exactly it costs more, but it's not too significant. Okay. So schedule your appointments with the brokerages and select the one that fits you right. If you guys have any questions, I also inputted my little business card at the bottom for you guys to screenshot. But next, I will tell you a little bit of what I do. That was how I got into it. And I know it might be a lot of information, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me towards the end of it, and I'll be more than happy to help you. But as a realtor, I have a lot of responsibilities in regards to my clients. When I help them through the home buying process, I wrote it down, or I made this little template for you guys to visually see what I do. And I start from the pre-approval. I have a lot of people who ask me, and I mean a lot of people who ask me, oh, they're interested in buying a home, but they don't have a pre-approval loan. And if you don't have a pre-approval, then you don't really have much to work with. We need to see if the client is qualified. And that's the first step that you need to do when you become a realtor and you have a new client. So in the pre-approval process, you're going to need to collect a lot of documentation and have them sign a contract with you stating the confidentiality between collecting those documents, stating that you will not be sharing it with anybody else. So you'll speak with a couple lenders, and if you don't know any, simply just call them or ask your office which ones they have appointed. For my office, we have an in-house escrow, and we also have lenders that we partner with. So that process for me was really easy. I remember I only knew about 2 lenders, but when I went to my office, they gave me about half a dozen. So just talk to whatever brokerage you end up going with and see what lender works good for you. But you have to get a pre-approval and address any credit issues and determine the right mortgage, because there's so many mortgage plans out there like FHA and non-conventional and conventional that will just be fit for your client. It depends on what their credit score is and what their income is and what they're looking for in regards to paying the right mortgage. So after I get a pre-approval from a client, I will then help them with the home shopping process, which can be a little lengthy. When you have some clients who are looking for some specific things, it might take a little longer. So you just have to be patient in that process. But you do have to discuss your criteria with the buying agent, and you have to see what they're looking for. And if they find a specific home that they want, you have to see what are the terms of that home. And if you have to contact that agent to see if they've already have any offers, so that you can be well prepared to counter offer that so your client can get what they want. And so that goes on to offer and negotiation. When you find the right home, there's a lot of research that you do around it for your client, which is finding out if the home is really worth that. You can do that by researching comps around the area, which is looking around the area within a certain mile radius to see what homes have been sold and for how much and when were they sold. So that really can affect what the house value is deemed to be and what the seller is willing to fluctuate on. You can always submit an offer either lower or higher, but nowadays I've seen a lot of offers being over asking price and a lot of offers being non-contingent. So there's a lot of cash buyers out there and a lot of people who are just the perfect buyers. So if you end up getting a client who might not have the best application, you just have to negotiate on the right terms, and sometimes it will work and sometimes it won't. But don't be distressed if you get to that stage, because there should be someone at your office who helps guide you through the entire thing. Just know that there's also a lot of paperwork when you're doing offers. So when you write an offer to a potential home that your client wants to buy, you will have to submit more documentation to your office, because the offices do get recorded by the state for how many transactions they process. And if you don't correctly put in the right amount of paperwork, you guys can get dinged by the state and you will get probably like discussed to on the side, but it's not too big of a deal. So next you do your due diligence, which is if your offer gets accepted, you do due diligence, which is a home inspection, an appraisal, survey, negotiate repairs and title exam, and you have to finish up the loan process. You will have a in-office escrow or out-office escrow, and they can help you with all the paperwork. So also don't stress about that. And then finally, you can do the pre-closing and title, and then finally give the potential homeowners or the new homeowners the keys to the home. So this is a really lengthy process, but it does get easier over time. I know for me, when I first started out, it was pretty challenging with all the paperwork. I did get very overwhelmed, but the one thing that I was really happy about was I hired a coach actually. And when hiring a coach, you should also be aware that they might end up taking a commission split from yours. So if you end up getting like an 80-20 split and you hire a coach who takes 20%, then just be aware that they are going to take 20%. So you end up taking 60% home, but it's really worth it. If the last thing you want is to lose a client because they think you're not experienced enough and that you aren't aware of all the procedures that are going on in the business. A lot of times I see other people who are trying to start out go without a coach, and that's fine if you want to do that, but if you don't know the paperwork, you're going to have to study a lot. So just be aware of that. There's a lot of studying with the paperwork, and you don't want to get it wrong. So it's a lot of paperwork, but not too much where you have to stress out. Yeah, so that's my presentation, but I also can show you guys let me see if I can exit out of this. The link that I put in, I believe, real estate trainers. And I'll give you guys a little bit of how it looks and what to expect, because the page can get a little confusing, but don't worry because you will get there. So this is the trade school that I went to. It's Real Estate Trainers in Anaheim, and it is called, well, it's been in business for 50 years. So the 3-course package is $384. That's everything that you need. Don't take the rest because you're just going to waste your time unless you already have the other courses, which is great. And it really does have everything that you need. So salesperson, if you want to become a broker, you can also take that here, and becoming an MLO or an appraiser. Everything is here. Everything is here for you easily to access if you're trying to get into any of those fields. And they also, their training is just really good. I recommend it. I took the class once and I passed the test after I did the crash course. So that was something that I definitely recommend. I recommend the school to everybody when they ask me where I took my courses. And I took, let me see where it is. The 2-day salesperson crash course. And as you can see here, over 92% of students who complete the full 2-day crash course will pass the first time. And I believe if you don't pass the first time, they waive the second fee to taking the crash course again, and you can take it for free. But it's $219, and if you want the online practice questions, it's $274. Just do $274. That's what I did. I took the practice questions, and I did it even before I took the exam. But yes, that is my presentation. If you guys have any questions, please link it down in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Oh, stop share.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I thought it was really insightful. You know, I always tell you, it awes me how you've been able to accomplish so much as just a college student. And I'm glad that you were able to share that with everyone else today. So like Caitlin said, now we're going to go into our Q&A section. So, you know, feel free to raise your hand or just put it in the chat about any questions you have, and Caitlin will be more than happy to answer them.
Yes,
Okay.
Martin.
Yeah, so Marvin has raised his hand.
Marvin.
So yeah,
Oh.
Marvin, if you want to.
Yeah. So I was wondering, did you do any internships before getting your license, or did you just go straight into getting the salesperson license?
I did an internship, but it was not in relation to real estate. I actually did it for a law office. So when I went into real estate, I just went straight into it, but I do have a background of it because my family's in real estate. They do property management and they're also developers. You don't need an internship. You can still sign wherever you want. They won't ask you really what is your background in the field. And if you don't have anything, don't worry. They're not going to shy away from you.
Yeah. No, I know you don't need an internship, but I was just wondering if you did happen to have some experience with it.
Oh, personally, me, I haven't done an internship for real estate.
Oh, okay.
I just went straight into it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think Johanna, if I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yes, I wanted to ask, I was reviewing the requirements for the broker's license, and it says that if you have a bachelor's in the field, pretty much you can go and take, you know, if you already have your salesperson license, you can take the other one. So if I'm an FRL, that counts as real estate, right? Even if the emphasis is not real estate?
I would recommend speaking to your advisor, but I think the emphasis does have to be real estate if you want to be taking the broker's test after you finish the courses. But I could be wrong about the emphasis. If you take the required courses, I'm pretty sure you could still take it. But I would
The
recommend.
emphasis has to be on real estate.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome.
I think we have a few questions in the chat from John and Mark.
John, so how long have you been with Keller Williams and how many transactions have you completed with them? I've been with Keller Williams for about, I would say not too long, 7 months or less. There's a lot of training with it. I've done training once you first start out, you do training for about 3 months. There's 3 courses of that, so 9 months of training after that. So I'm still in the training process. I've helped complete 2 transactions. One was commercial, one was home buying process. But the second home buyer actually ended up backing out because they didn't want to pay the mortgage price that they were given. So that was an interesting one. And then the commercial one was closing a 4-unit. So yes, hope that answers your question. And did you ever consider working real estate part-time, or do you want to go full-time once you're done with Cal Poly? Personally for me, I wanted to go into real estate full-time, but when COVID came in, I remember I took up that time to take the classes and to just take the test right away and just have it with me, because after 2 years of being an active license holder, you can take the broker license exam. So I decided just to have it active within 2 years and then apply for my broker's license. But it's hard being part-time. If you're a student, it's really challenging. If you're a realtor, you have to be available 24/7 for all your clients. I've had to manage my time really well, and it does get a little hectic and stressful at times, but again, having a coach can really help you manage your time, and they will often take some of the workload off of you or just direct you in that right path so that you don't get lost within the entire process.
So I have a DM from Reagan. I hope I'm saying her name right. And she said, what would you recommend to those who are currently working on getting their real estate license but are a bit shy? Also, how difficult is it to get your name out there?
If you're a bit shy, they have classes for you. For the ones who are more introverted and still trying to do something in sales, there's a lot of training that helps you engage with clients. So I took a couple classes with building client relationships, and they teach you a lot of methods like RISE and so forth, which it's a modeling tool to how you should speak to people and what questions to ask. And if you are shy, then there's also a different type of speaking module that you can follow. But the client usually talks about, I think, majority of the time, you want to get most of the information from the client. So you'll be speaking about like 30% of the time when you're interviewing a potential lead. So that's positive thing. But you are going to have to talk a lot more. So I would just say get comfortable, take the classes that they recommend and offer to you. And yeah, that's it. For John, is it hard while attending? Yes. Is it hard to balance working with your license while still attending Cal Poly full time? Yes. Yes, it's challenging, especially because I have a balancing program and web development. Jessica, how did you find your coach? The coach, actually, I got teamed up with him from my team leader, and I didn't know if she was the right fit for me in the first time. But I ended up finding her through the team leader, and we spoke and we just hit it off right away. So I was really lucky with that. But just know sometimes your team leader won't be the right fit for you, and you're not obligated to stay with them unless you signed a contract. So just make sure that you do an interview with that coach before you sign a contract, because even if you don't end up liking them or you just don't think that they're the right fit for you and you sign a contract, you're still obligated to pay off that cut to the coach. Even if they didn't help you close any of the deal, you'll still have to pay them. So sometimes within contracts, I remember seeing one that was $1,000 fee for the coach every month. Even if you don't close a deal within that month, you still owe the $1,000 and it rolls over. So just be aware that if you have a contract, just read it through. The one I have doesn't even have a contract. We have a really good relationship, and so we don't even need one. I think I'm not sure who rose their hand up first, so I'm just gonna go from down up to Eric, Johanna, and then Seneca.
Caitlin.
Eric?
Yeah,
Hi.
hi Caitlin. Thank you so much for hosting this. So I have a question not on the real estate licensing, but on the client side. So just for some context, I'm trying to buy a house after I graduate. So like I tried to do the pre-approval. So my credit's okay. I determined like the right mortgage for me based on my salary. The only problem is like I haven't started working yet, so I don't have like a 1 month like pay stub, so I can't make any moves. So I was just wanting to ask, like on your end, what are some ways to do your like kind of due diligence, like home area, like research, and how do you like scan it out? Because I'm moving to an area which I've never been to, so I just wanted your expertise on that.
You said you don't have. Do you have a down payment ready, and you have money set away for this new home?
Yeah, I can get that. My parents, I just have to convince my parents, but they're willing to do about like 100K.
Are you going to be working anywhere soon?
Yeah, in August. And I
In
was thinking about doing like house hacking. So that's why I wanted to, I don't know if this is the right place to ask.
So house hacking, you wanna purchase a home, or you wanna purchase like an apartment building and live in one of the units, or you're fine with renting out one of the rooms in the potential home that you want to purchase?
Yeah, I want to rent out one of the rooms and yeah, live in it as well.
Okay. There's a lot of loan programs for that. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're trying to do an investment property and you have money set away, your parents have to gift it to you. So there's a process that you want to follow, and you have to discuss that with your lender, because if you and I didn't ask this, but when you get hired, do you have a contract with them? Is it like a 2-year contract or a 5-year contract? Because from that you can also get a approved for a loan.
It's not a contract, it's just a full-time position, I think.
I think honestly, I think that since you have the down payment and you're going to do an investment property and house hacking, that if you find the right lender, I can even connect you through with one and just discuss with them, and they won't even pull your credit if you just give them your estimate, and they will give you a estimate of what you can get approved for, and you can go off based on that.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, you can reach out to me if did you get I'll put in my contact information in the comments, and then I can help you out with that.
Okay, for sure. Thank you so much.
And then Johanna?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you can answer this, but so when you started working when you chose the company that you're working for as a real estate agent, do they provide with the source of generating leads or generating business, or how do they work?
It depends on what office you sign with.
Mhm.
Some of them give you expired leads, but they'll charge you, and they might charge you like $2 a contact, or even sometimes I've seen it to like $10 a contact. But if you're trying to figure out how to generate leads and stuff, I would say that there's a lot of ways to do it, and I think that one of the main things is having really good marketing, and from that you won't really need the ones from your office. But it depends on what office you go to. The one that I work with, they do help new agents, so if you don't have any leads, they can always pair you up with another agent who's willing to support you in generating leads. So depends on what brokerage to answer, and I wouldn't recommend using those software data that allow you to purchase leads, because it's not thoroughly it's not completely accurate, the information that they give you. And they sometimes, when they give you the leads that you purchase, they're already given to other people, and it's already a dead end for you. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I contact, well, I'm getting my real estate license, but I have my license for loans. I have the NMLS license.
Mhm.
And since I'm, in school and working, it's been a little tough, managing the time and putting myself out there.
Mhm.
And the company that I'm working with, I think it's good, but maybe because I'm not working full time, I haven't find, the support that I need. And other thing is that to be fully licensed with them, I need both of the real estate and the NMLS because they're registered under the DRE.
Mhm.
So I was looking into buying leads, and yes, you're 100% right. A lot of places they sell the leads because I think um, they're not exclusive leads. So
Mhm.
they sell it to other people, and yes, they are very expensive. The ones that I thought they were the best, they're 6,000 for 6 months. So yeah,
Yes,
they are.
I wouldn't. I would save your money. And um, purchasing leads, I never hear anything good about that. So out of like personal recommendation, I don't do that. I haven't heard anyone successfully do it, but congratulations on getting your NMLS license. Actually, I have a lender who I spoke to last week, and they were just asking me how I generate leads as well. And they told me that for them, they actually cold call a lot. So they cold call like all throughout the day, and they potentially get some new leads like that. So I don't know if that might help you, but that's what I've heard from previous lenders.
That's what I want to do. But yeah, I think it's just finding the right
Mhm.
marketing support and learning how to do it.
Right. I think I'm not too sure, but some offices they also support you in marketing, and they sometimes take some of the fees away and support you in that. But hopefully, I mean, if you speak to your office, they might be able to support you with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. Seneca.
Okay, so my question was, in your presentation, you mentioned how with some of the programs you took, it taught you how to find, your fit. So I guess from your perspective, what made Keller Williams stand out to you in order to be like, this is the place that I want to work at compared to like other brokerages? I know that you interviewed with a couple or you like looked for a couple of them. So what made that one stand out compared to the other ones?
For me personally, it's not just the company name, also like Keller Williams, I signed with Keller Williams as a whole, because each individual branch is operated differently. So I remember when I interviewed for my first couple brokerages, I chose well, who did I choose? I chose Keller Williams in Newport Beach, which was really famous and widely known because they have some famous realtor there and a real estate team that dominates the Orange County market. But but when I went into the office, the atmosphere wasn't what I wanted, and the contract and the terms weren't what I wanted. So that was a good indicator. Um, and who else? So long. Oh, Coldwell Banker. I interviewed with Coldwell Banker, and I didn't really like the software that they use and how the office also runs. It was a little more old school for me, and I'm more about what's new and technology wise. And so when I chose Keller Williams and Yorba Linda, they offered me a really good split. Given my background, I think that's why they given me a pretty good split because I had to negotiate for that. And the contract terms were right, and I didn't have any desk fees, which I loved because the other offices did charge me desk fees that were on a rolling basis. So I really appreciated that with my office, and the atmosphere in my office is really great. There's always a front desk lady. Some offices don't have that, and there are coaches. We have our in-house escrow, which I really loved, and it has all the elements that you need to success and thrive as a realtor. So that's why I personally chose that, and they're very inviting people. So
Thank you. I think that's really insightful information and shows that you're I love how you said that with Coldwell Banker, that was like they used old software, and I'm not about that old software. And I think that's great that it shows that, your perspective and what fits for you goes far beyond, the pay, the name, it's like, can you actually use the software? Can you actually work there? Is, I think, like also super important.
Right. Yeah. I think
So does anyone have any other questions for Katlynne? The floor is yours to ask her any questions, have any comments. Okay.
Jessica says, would you say having family in real estate helped you decide to get into the field right away and not get an internship first? Yes. Yes, my family's in property management and developers, so I didn't think that needing an internship was very necessary for me, but I recommend it if you want to do an internship. But once you become a realtor, there's so much training that it's kind of like doing a little internship in the beginning, your own little internship with all the schooling that you get. So I think you're welcome. Ryan asked, how has working in real estate improved your networking skills with clients and others? I think professionally I've developed in a lot of ways that I did not have before. With all the scripts that I've received and all the training that I've received, I think that my networking skills have really improved. Especially, I see it's very vital to keep in contact with everybody. I mean, you have to do countless touch bases with clients for them to remember your name, and you have to just be very genuine when you're talking to clients. So you have to build actually like solidify a relationship so that you can keep that relationship and get the referrals from there. So I think that for me, I was able to build that and create more genuine relationships. And it just makes actually the business for me a lot more enjoyable. John asked, are the interviews to get on with the real estate company as intense and competitive as 8 to 5 career office job? No, it's not. My interview was like 10 minutes. And the other ones are probably, I've had one for about an hour because they're showing me all the software they have. But if you're going into sales and it's commission based, they don't ask you a lot of questions because they're not obligated to pay you the hourly wages that other companies offer. So once you sign with them, you're an independent contractor and you have to work and make the money on your own. So they're just there to aid you and support you. At the 8 to 5, depends. I mean, I've had 8 to 5s and I still like it. And it wasn't as, I've never had really an intense interview actually, but I haven't interviewed too much actually. But right, for me, the interviews are not hard or not intense. They don't ask you like how long have you been working for, and that's a basis if you get hired or not, because you get taken into whatever company you decide. Pretty much just know that you're in control when you're trying to sign with the brokerage. I think that's all the questions. Okay. Well, I'll
Right.
hand it off to Seneca.
But yeah, so if no one has any other questions, we can end the meeting a little early today. I once again want to say thank you to Katlynne for, speaking on her experience at Keller Williams, speaking on her experience of what she's been through to get her licenses. And I think it's great insight when you have a college student talking about that. It makes it easier. So I really appreciate you talking to us about that. And, she's given her phone number. She's on Slack. So please join our Slack, and you can also DM her through there for any questions. And, yeah, you can contact her anytime, like she said.